one of, not a, but the fantasy football power hour, hanging out where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street. So make sure you head out to any one of their Syracuse locations. You can also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. I call it the Welcome Center to Manlius, as you can't miss it as all roads converge into Manlius. It's right in front of you. Big brown stripe building, double-decker cafe, 343 Fayette Street, Manlius, New York. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today, and I thank everybody that has done so. So definitely make sure that you head out there to Cafe Kubal today and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. And with that being said, we got a lot of stuff to get into here as you're with us on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. So however you're connecting with us, thank you so much. You're also with us on Facebook.com / Live Now DT, and you're with us on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So however you're with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we thank you for being here where sports meets that thing called life, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it is now time for us to jump into the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, open 7 days a week. Make sure you go out there to watch all your NFL games, as well as the Major League Baseball postseason, the beginning of the NBA, believe it or not, and NHL, believe it or not, as they are on their way back. Obviously, college football, you can go out there and watch all the Syracuse away games. You better be at the Dome if you can be at the Dome. If not, then head out to the Wildcat, watch the games there, and enjoy their awesome experience out at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So definitely appreciate the Wildcat 7 days a week. And if you're going to be at home watching the game, then of course you can go to your phone and make it very easy on yourself and call 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. And you can get in touch with them, and you can order for takeout and delivery at 315-487-2222. So make sure you get in touch with the Wildcat today and order some food. If you're going to be staying in the house, you should definitely get in touch with the Wildcat. So much appreciation and much love to the Wildcat Sports Pub, and it's now time to get into your fantasy football advice for NFL Week 6 in the 2022-23 season. As always, if you have questions, send them over to us. You can write them in on mixlr.com / wakeupcalldt, our live internet streaming radio. You can also write them into us on youtube.com / wakeupcalldt, and you can write them into us on facebook.com / wakeupcalldt. So we're literally, wherever you are in the world, you could write them over. We had our first Maine person, which is really cool. First individual from the great state of Maine was with us. Hashtag First Mainer. And always happy to have our first here on the broadcast and have everybody here that comes back every single week. So whether you're a first timer or you've been with us the whole time, we want to thank you for being a part of the show and connecting with us where sports meets that thing called life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So much love and many thanks. And it is now time to hop into it and to get this thing rocking and rolling. So the first game that we have up on the docket, Washington at Chicago. And so the Washington Commanders, Carson Wentz is injured right now with a shoulder injury. So I think at some point this season we're going to see Sam Howell, who I covered inside of the ACC, hailing from the North Carolina Tar Heels. I think at some point we're going to see him, so don't be surprised if that happens sometime soon. Brian Robinson Jr., who is a rookie who I interviewed from Alabama. He had been shot twice before the season started. He should be in a place right now where he could get himself onto the field. So, definitely watch his story, and I'm excited to see, what he can bring to the table here. I feel terrible for what happened to him, and I'm hoping and praying that he's okay and that he doesn't have PTSD or any of that as well. I don't, that's a thing, is you don't want somebody to go through the pain of what he went through in and of itself, and you don't want it to linger and follow him forever either, that he's like afraid to go outside and this, that, and the third. So I'm really hoping that things will get better for him and that he's okay, and more than anything else that he's staying safe, because that's what it's about, right? It's about the health, safety, and happiness of everybody. It's way beyond football. So in this game, because Chi-Town is so bad, I definitely think there's maybe some more value in this. I mean, and not necessarily guys that I wouldn't tell you to that I'm going to tell you to play this week that I wouldn't tell you to play last week. But, there could be some more fantasy value here because Chicago is just reeling and they've just been awful. So Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, both worth the play for you. Logan Thomas is on the injury report, so just watch that. Currently on the injury report at the moment here. Didn't practice with a calf injury early on this week, so just watch that. But, I think that ultimately Antonio Gibson is a good play for you, and Terry McLaurin, that guy can play with any quarterback, so I do like him there. The next, and then on the other side for Chicago, they got a bunch of guys healthy. Montgomery's back. Khalil Herbert's done some good things. Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney. They have a relatively, Cole Kmet, God bless them, and I hope it continues. They have a relatively healthy team, and I hope everybody has this. They're just not performing. And offensively, Chicago's had some woes for a long time. So do I feel good about anybody? A low flex for you, like a wide receiver 4, Darnell Mooney, and Cole Kmet's a lower end tight end 2. David Montgomery is all right. I'd say he's a high end 3 at running back, and Khalil Herbert, I'd say a low end 2, high end 3, because he's done some good things this year, right? And I can't really say that for Montgomery as much, but if we take a look at this and take a look at the situation statistically, what we have so far is Khalil Herbert's leading the team in yards, 328 yards on 56 carries, 5.9 yards a carry, and 3 touchdowns. Montgomery has 1 touchdown, 179 yards on 47 carries. So 9 carries less than Khalil Herbert and over 100 yards less, 5.9 yards a carry for Herbert, 3.8 for Montgomery. So, Herbert looks like he may be taken over, and I like Khalil Herbert as a flex running back for you if you can go 3 or 4 running backs in a week. That's the one I feel best about. Then it would be Mooney, and then it would be Cole Kmet. I don't feel great about Justin Fields. He has not really been serviceable at all. Next, and if you have questions, send them in as we go. Happy to answer your questions. So I definitely want to let you all know that. So happy to answer your questions here. And I'm doing something special for my dad's retirement party is today. So I will have to hop out here. I know last week we did like over 2 hours of fantasy football. I think I did a 4-hour broadcast overall. Can't do that today because I got to make sure I'm there for Pop. But I can help you out within this hour and get these things in for you. Next game that we have on the docket here is going to be San Francisco at Atlanta. Wow, San Francisco, God bless, man. Grateful that you kept Jimmy Garoppolo, I guess. You don't respect him, but I don't understand how a guy leads you to a Super Bowl and then you're like, let's replace him. You know what I mean? It's like, really? Out of every quarterback that's backed up Tom Brady in his time in the NFL, the only one that has translated into something has been Jimmy Garoppolo. And how do I know that? Well, he led them to a Super Bowl. And, has anybody else done anything close to that? No. And so for me, I think it's an easy sell to keep Jimmy Garoppolo on your team, but they go up, they draft up, they go from 12 to 3 to get Trey Lance. They go up 9 spots, so obviously he's their guy of the future. He gets hurt this year, and last year they split time, and now, God willing, he'll be back soon from his ankle injury. But Jimmy Garoppolo, folks, this guy, how many times does he have to win? How many good things does he have to do? This guy steps in, and all of a sudden, San Francisco is above 500. They're 3-2 on the season. They beat the defending championship Super Bowl Rams, right? And here they are at the top of the NFC West. They're above the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. Everybody's 2-3 except for San Fran in that division, who's 3-2. And that 3-2 switch, you can say, is because of their win over the Rams. So they've been doing great under Jimmy G, and Jimmy G continues to get no respect. In this game against Atlanta, I think Jimmy G is worth the play. I got him as a lower-end quarterback 1, but he's playing Atlanta. We know that he can compete. We know he can get the ball down the field. We know he is a good and strong quarterback, and he's playing an Atlanta defense that doesn't really show up. He already has, in 4 games, he has over 60% completion percentage, 857 yards, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. So I like him as a low-end quarterback. Tevin Coleman is back to practice, and we'll see what he can do. Elijah Mitchell is out now with an MCL injury. God willing, he'll be back by week 10. Jeff Wilson Jr. is your guy here now. I'd put him as a flex running back 3 this week because they're playing Atlanta. Deebo Samuel is obviously worth the play. George Kittle is not who he used to be, but Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy that used to throw to him. So I like George Kittle in this game as a tight end one, I would say, for you, because they're playing Atlanta and he's got Jimmy G back. So I wouldn't say he's one of the top 5 in the country right now, but I would definitely say he's worth the play this week. On the other side, Tyler Algier, he's a running back 3 or 4 if you can flex him out. Drake London, unfortunately, is questionable with a knee injury, so watch that one. If he's not able to go, a good pickup for you is Olamide Zaccheaus, who I covered when he was at Virginia inside of the ACC. Kyle Pitts is injured, too, with a hamstring injury. Those are nagging, so God willing, they'll all be back. Felipe Franks, who came in as a quarterback, has transitioned to tight end, which is crazy here. So we'll see what that's going to look like as we go forward for the Atlanta Falcons. But with injuries to Drake London and Kyle Pitts, Olamide Zaccheaus becomes a huge asset for you. And then Kadarrell Hodge, and there's some other guys out there that if you're in a deep league, you might want to flex out. But I think Olamide Zaccheaus is a good flex for you this week with the injuries happening to Drake London and Kyle Pitts, especially in PPR. Somebody has to catch the ball. I like Algier and I like Olamide Zaccheaus, and hopefully London and Pitts will be better. Watch those. If they're better, then they're good to go. I think Drake London is a wide receiver for you to put out there as a 2 or a 3. I think Kyle Pitts is good to put out there still as a starter. And Olamide Zaccheaus, just watch it. If London and Pitts, if one of them or both of them is unable to go, then Olamide Zaccheaus gets a good flex for you this week that I think will be worth the play. Next one that we have up here is New England at Cleveland. Cleveland keeps getting close, right? They keep getting close. Those almost wins, those maybe we're going to do it. And now they're playing a New England team, and I picked against Detroit for the first few weeks here, and then I said I learned my lesson. I'm not picking against them. And what do they do in the game I don't pick against them? They put up a goose egg. 29-0. They lose to third-string quarterback Bailey Zappi of the New England Patriots. And I told you Bailey Zappi was going to get himself out there, so I'm happy to see him out there. Brian Hoyer's injured. Mac Jones is injured. And God willing, they'll be back. Bailey Zappi, ride the hot hand. Mac Jones is questionable. He may return for this game. But I think if they have Bailey Zappi, they might have a better chance. We'll see. Damian Harris is doubtful for this game with a hamstring injury. God willing, he'll get better. So Ramondre Stevenson, he boosts up here, and he's worth the play. They're playing Cleveland. I got him as a low-end 2, high-end 3 running back. Jacoby Myers, good possession guy, help you out, and he's still a flex guy for me. And then I think Hunter Henry, if you look at what he's done this season, Hunter Henry for me, not great, right? Not one of the top tier guys at wide receiver, or at tight end, I should say, but is somebody who's out there and has yet to get into the end zone. But we'll take a look at his numbers so far and see where he's at this year. So he's had, most recently 4 catches, so he hasn't done a ton. He's been relatively quiet, but he is playing Cleveland, so he could see the end zone. I got him as a tight end 2 this week. I think your best bet's Ramondre Stevenson and then Jacoby Myers PPR-wise. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, both worth the play. I shouldn't have to tell you that, but I will. David Njoku is back to healthy, and I don't trust anybody in the wide receiving core, tight ends for Cleveland. I think it goes through Hunt and Chubb, and I think you got to play them both. So if you got them both, good for you. I think you got to play them both for sure. Let's see, we got some questions coming in. Chill said, Kelsey and Sutton for Fuller and Sammy Watkins and 24 and 25 first. I'm getting Kelsey. Okay. So you're going to give up, is that Will Fuller the 5th that you're giving up? So, let me see here. I'm guessing. I'm guessing it is in this situation. So let me look at this again. So chill. You said Kelsey and Sutton for Fuller and Sammy Watkins, and 24 and 25 first. So you're giving. Okay. So you're giving up in your league. You're giving up future draft picks. Okay. For Kelsey and Sutton now. Yeah. I mean, do it. It sucks that you're. I was just watching Draft Day, which is a fantastic movie if you haven't watched it, starring Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. Definitely make sure you go out and watch it. But great, great movie. And he gives up future first, but he ends up getting them back. So maybe you can get him back, chill. But I like it. If you're getting Kelsey, I would do it. I don't like that you're giving up your futures here, but if you draft smart in the second through whatever the rest of your draft is, you should be okay, especially if it's not too deep of a draft, if it's not like, 14, 16, 18 teams in it. So you should be okay, and I'm hopeful for that. But I like you getting Kelsey right now to help you out. I mean, go ahead and send me the rest of your roster, and we can definitely look at it. But, when I see that somebody can get Kelsey for what you're giving up, the players you're giving up, I don't mind that at all. The future draft picks, I mind a little bit. So, but I know you want to win now, and I like you getting Kelsey, and Sutton is good for PPR. So definitely let me know. Shoot me a message here. Let me know who else you got on your team too. And how do you send your roster? Just type it in, man. Just you can just type into me what tight ends and receivers you have. Just type those in, and I'd be just to double check here before I give you my definite. So giving up players just so I don't have to drop anyone. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. So the person really wants the draft picks of the future more than anything else. So yeah, send me your tight ends and your wide receivers you currently have, besides Fuller and Sammy Watkins, just so I could take a look at this. But yeah, man, getting Kelsey is a big thing. I mean, that guy's a game changer, so I do like that. Next one we got up here, the Jets at Green Bay. Let's get to the Jets at Green Bay. The Jets are rocking and rolling, baby. They are winning. Shout out to my brother Ross Turetsky. Shout out to my dude Brendan Murphy. Got some Jets fans that are very excited and hopeful right now. And a little interesting here, as I know people that cheer on the Green Bay Packers that are Florida Gator fans, and I know people that cheer on the Jets that are Florida Gator fans, and they're playing each other this week, which is ironic. Jets at Packers. Breece Hall, definitely got to play him, put him out there. And, outside of that, there's really not a lot to write home about for the Jets. As far as fantasy-wise, Michael Carter's like a running back 4 right now, but Breece Hall is definitely worth the play for you. He's been hauling in them points, pun totally intended on that. So, I think Breece Hall is a good move for you, and I think you should definitely put him out there. I shouldn't have to tell you this. I told you to draft him, and I called that they were going to draft him. I called, I think, like the first 4 picks that the Jets drafted, which was insane, because as a Jaguars fan, we're a different shade of green, but apparently this Jet shade of green works out for me. So kind of funny how that worked out, that I was in Pizza Man Pub calling out these, who was going to get. I was like, yep, that guy, and then they're going to get that guy, and then they're going to get that guy. So pretty crazy. I was like, it definitely made sense to me, the players that they picked up, and so we'll see where the Jets head from here in fantasy. They're doing good in reality though, and that's what the fans care about. They're 3-2, and as of right now, looking at these things here, Michael Carter has a couple touchdowns. So does Breece on the ground. Breece also has one through the air. Garrett Wilson, the rookie, he's got a couple, drafted 10th overall, and Corey Davis has a couple. So I think Garrett Wilson might be a good flex for you this week, but I definitely like Breece Hall. I like Michael Carter as a flex if you can go deep with running backs, like to a running back 4. On the other side of it, for the Green Bay Packers, you got to play Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones as well. Alan Lazard is also worth the play for you here. And Robert Tonyan, a sneaky guy to put out there. I got him as a tight end too overall, ranking wise, but if you have him on your team and you don't have the Kelseys or the Mark Andrews or the Kittles and whatnots of the world, then you might want to throw him in there for the matchup. So I do like a bunch of players on both sides of this thing. Let's see. Chill said you got CeeDee Lamb, Marquise Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Allen Robinson, Kadarius Toney, and future Cooper Kupp, Kyle Phillips. And then you got Conklin, Everett, Engram, Kamara, Eckler, Aaron Jones, Nyheim Hines. Okay. Zamir White, Hassan Haskins. I like these, man. James Cook, A.J. Dillon, Carr and Burrow at quarterback. One quarterback, one super flex, two wide receiver. Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. You're going to add Kelsey to this team? Who's going to beat you? So, one tight end deep league with 10 people, big bench. Yeah. I run 10 people leagues too, man. If chill, I like your roster, man. I definitely do. So I'm going to shoot you a little message here. You're 2-3. Well, it's all about who you play and when you play them, right? So some of these guys, good names, but don't always show up. So you got a good team to be 2-3, and adding Kelsey, that's going to help you out. So, congratulations to you on that. Definitely get that trade done. Like I said, I don't like you giving up future first-round picks, but you're in a 10-person league, and I know what it's like to be in a 10-person league because I'm in those every year. So just draft smart for these upcoming years, and you don't have to worry about it in 2023, so that's a good thing too. So just make sure you're prepared as you go. What do I think of Allen Robinson? I think he's an underperforming wide receiver. I think he came in the league as a 1, and put it to you like this. I cover the Jaguars, and the year that he tore his ACL and wasn't out there for the team was the best season that they've had in over a decade. And not that I'm happy he got injured at all. I'm just saying him not being on the field, they performed better without him. And, Chicago, he's had some good numbers, but, with the Rams, it's just, to me, I don't like it. What did Chill say? Kelsey, a beast, might win me the season. That's why I'm doing it. I feel like I did well with this year with drafting potential starters. Yeah, you definitely did. And Chill, I'm going to send this to you. If you would like to join our national fantasy league for next season, which I already reached out to some people for this, because that's the great part of being with us on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT, is that while we're talking, we're in these chat rooms, I could invite you to the National League. So if you get that invitation, remember, I'm only handing out a few of those. I've only handed out one so far. So if you'd like to join our National Fantasy League for next season, send me an email to DT Stays. And this goes for anybody listening too, if you want to do it. Send me an email to dtstays@gmail.com. So Chill, if you want to join us, definitely do it. And I would definitely appreciate you doing that. And remember to subscribe to the channel. So I would definitely appreciate you subscribing to the channel, as many people did this past week. And Chill, if you want to join our Fantasy Football National League next year, make sure you do it. Kyle Phillips, James Cook, Zamir White, A.J. Dillon, Haskins, maybe Naheem. So just make sure you do that, Chill. Shoot me an email, dtstays@gmail.com. It's in the feed here. And remember to subscribe to the channel. You got any questions the rest of the show, as well as upcoming weeks, shoot them over to me. And you can definitely get in touch with me. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here this morning. And thank you, thank you for being a part of the show for sure. How big is the league going to be? We'll see on that, but I'm probably going to keep it 10 to 12 because that's what I like to do. I think that's fair. And it allows for people to be on the waiver wire. It also allows people to be in free agency. So, and thank you for the subscription, Chill. Appreciate it very much. So make sure you shoot me an email so I don't forget that we had this conversation, because I want to make sure to include you in that. So make sure you definitely join me there. Appreciate it very much. So yeah, next game we got up here. So Jets and Packers. I told you a bunch of players are playing those. Jaguars at Colts. I'm really upset about how Jacksonville's offense. I was on site on location for this and interviewed a bunch of guys after the game. You can go check those out at any one of our outlets. All you have to do for a wake-up call with Dan Tortora is go to any one of these places: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, as well as Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, YouTube, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher. I thought I said YouTube twice, and TuneIn. Make sure you head to any one of those. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you will find me at one of these, all of these. So make sure you do that. Subscribe today. And on Podbean, you can see them very easily. We have over 1,600 broadcasts on Podbean alone. on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So make sure you check that out. And all my conversations with the Jaguars that I aired are up there. Running back James Robinson, wide receiver Christian Kirk, tight end Evan Engram, and kicker Riley Patterson from this week in the loss to the Texans at home. I'm going to be airing my one-on-one conversation with Andre Sisco coming up this week as well on Friday. Very excited to do that. So make sure you're always with us with all of our coverage, including our Jaguars coverage on the prowl. So search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these outlets and make sure you're with us, and you will get our archive, which constantly updates itself. So make sure you check that out. With that being said, Jacksonville at Indianapolis, James Robinson and Travis Etienne, I bring them down a little bit here, but I would say they're worth flexing out for you. Running back 3, I would say running back 3, running back 4 situation here. James Robinson, and listen, they're playing the Colts for a second time. The Colts are going to want revenge. They beat the Colts 24-0 at home. So I like the fact that they've done it to him before. James Robinson and Travis Etienne, hard to keep off. I don't have them as your dominant 1 or your dominant 2 running back this week, but I do have them in your 3 running back or 4 running back set. So I think they're worth putting out there. Christian Kirk is worth the play as well. Zay Jones, not a bad possession guy, getting out there. And Marvin Jones Jr. too. It's still kind of a toss-up who it's going to be, but Christian Kirk's gotten some work in, so I think he's worth the play for you this week. Evan Engram, also another guy that we see Trevor Lawrence go to, so I think he's a tight end 2 overall, and if you play 2 tight ends, he's not a bad backup to have. On the other side of things, Jonathan Taylor's questionable with an ankle injury. He did nothing against the Jaguars defense when they played a few weeks ago, and he was just very, very quiet. He had 1 big run. Outside of that, he had 6 carries for 9 yards at the time, which was under 1 yard a carry, which was crazy. Michael Pittman Jr. is worth the play. He was injured when the Jaguars played them the first time, and Alec Pierce, coming from Cincinnati, covered him when he was at Cincinnati. I do like him as a future guy, but as of right now, looking at this and looking at the numbers, Alec Pierce is second on the team, 222 yards behind Michael Pittman's 283. Pierce is yet to have a touchdown, might have one in this game. He's a low-key, I call him a low-key flex. So he's like a wide receiver 4 for you. Michael Pittman is worth putting out there as wide receiver 2. I think there's value on both sides. I think there's more value on the receiver side for the Colts. And if Jonathan Taylor's unable to go, there's more value on Jacksonville's side at running back. But I think there's good value here. There's no true number 1 except for Jonathan Taylor if he is able to go, but there is value on both sides for this. I'm nervous about the Jaguars, and I'm hoping that they remember what they did to the Colts and they get back to 500 here. James Robinson, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Evan Engram, all a part of that game, so I'd like to see them be successful in this one, again, with those guys fantasy-wise for you. But on the other side, I do like Michael Pittman. I think sneaky Alec Pierce is good for you as a wide receiver 4. Put him out there as a flex. And Jonathan Taylor, obviously, if he's able to go, I don't need to tell you, but I will to play him. The next one up that we have here, Minnesota at Miami. Taking a look at the Vikings going up against Miami. Want to make sure I answer all your questions here. So if you have them, shoot them over so we can get them to you and we can get them up and ready to roll here. Next one that we have here is going to be going Minnesota at Miami, as I said. So the Minnesota Vikings, wow, their offense has been quiet, right? Their offense has just been very chill in not a good way. Not the good kind of chill, not the Netflix and chill. This is more like what the heck is going, put it on ice, they're cold. And they have not been coming through for fantasy owners. Justin Jefferson's got 2 touchdowns in 5 weeks. That's a little bit crazy. He does have 40 catches already. Targeted 55 times, 547 yards. He's averaging almost 14 yards per catch, which is good stuff. Adam Thielen's got a tutty. KJ Osborne, who I covered, who transferred from Buffalo to Miami in college, he's got a tutty. And Irv Smith Jr., he's got one as well. And 3 touchdowns for Dalvin Cook on the ground. So taking a look at Minnesota, you would like to think their offense is going to get going. This might be a low-scoring game, but I like Dalvin Cook. I like Justin Jefferson. I like Adam Thielen as a flex. Put him out as a low-end 2, high-end 3, depending on how deep your league is. Probably a wide receiver 3, I'd say. Irv Smith, he's hard for me to trust every week, so I'd probably leave him off of it. And for Miami, we'll see. Teddy Teddy Bridgewater is maybe going to be okay. Tua's maybe going to be okay. We'll see. So, this is a toss up here. You got to watch the quarterback situation. They got injuries all over the field right now, unfortunately. So if Tyreek Hill is able to go with his foot injury, he's worth putting out there. So is Jalen Waddle. Really, those are the only guys I feel good about. But watch to see if Tua is going to be coming back this week. This is a wait and see type of thing. And then Minnesota, it's a wait and see, but for other reasons. They're healthy. They're just not scoring as much as you would expect Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson to, with the caliber that they are. And then Adam Thielen, another guy that I'd like to see out there doing his thing as well. But I do think they're worth the play. They're hard to keep off because if you keep them off, that might be the week that they do it, right? Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. So, I struggle to tell you like, oh yeah, don't play him this week because the team's been quiet, because eventually I would think Minnesota is going to get loud, because how can they stay this quiet for this long, right? Being as good as they are. So, we'll see. But I definitely think that, those are high draft pick guys. I like to see them show out eventually. Ara Villa said, trade James Robinson and Gallup for David Montgomery, half PPR. No, I would say no. I would say no, and only because of the fact that, I just don't feel good about David Montgomery staying healthy. And Ara Villa here, thank you for the question. Make sure you send in other ones if you have it, and make sure to subscribe for sure. And so definitely make sure to subscribe. But yeah, I would probably hold off on the trade right now. Dak will probably be back sometime, hopefully soon here. And, Michael Gallup's kind of a toss-up at the moment. But James Robinson, he's a gamer. And remember, he had 100 yards a couple weeks ago and on the road against the Rams. And David Montgomery, I think Khalil Herbert might be taking his job. So that's why I tell you to stay away. And because he hasn't stayed healthy, speaking of David Montgomery. So God willing, he will, but he hasn't been lately. Joe Burrow, for Cincinnati, New Orleans, it's hard for me to tell you to not play Joe Burrow. I would say he's a lower end one. Joe Mixon is worth the play. Jamar Chase is worth the play. Hayden Hurst, I would say that he's worth the play, but I got him as a lower end one, higher end two at tight end. On the other side of it, Taysom Hill, they moved him back to quarterback on the depth chart, so just watch what you got. If he's under tight end, he's an easy flex out play for you. If he's under quarterback, that's a dicey situation. But ESPN had him as a tight end on the roster for fantasy, and I'm actually going to check to see if they still have him on the roster as a tight end here. Let me see here. Let me see what we got here. I want to see if they still have him at tight end. Let's see. Do they have Taysom Hill at tight end? They do. They do. So, yeah. Taysom Hill's still regarded as a tight end on ESPN, and that's where my leagues hail from. So that's not a bad bet for you. Go and get him, right? Especially if somebody dropped him, go and get you some. And thank you, Aravilla, for subscribing today. I greatly appreciate it. We're just a few away from having 500 subscribers on YouTube, and I definitely want you to be the next one. So make sure you subscribe this morning. Let's try and hit 500 today, and let's try and do it this morning. So yeah, Alvin Kamara is back. He's worth the play. And Chris Olave is in the concussion protocol, so just watch on that. Michael Thomas back on the injury report with a foot injury, which puts Traquan Smith in an interesting situation to help you out there in a flex. You could probably pick him up in free agency. The UCF product that I covered while he was at UCF, Traquan Smith might be a good pickup for you to flex out this week going up against Cincinnati. The best bets for you, though, is I would say Taysom Hill, because he's still at tight end, so he's good for you to flex out, definitely. Alvin Kamara, and then watch the Chris Olave situation, and potentially Traquan Smith if Chris Olave isn't able to go. Next one that we have up here, make sure you keep sending your questions in. Parker's got get JT for, okay, let's see here. Is that Jonathan Taylor, I'm guessing? Get Jonathan Taylor for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Gabe Davis in PPR. You have Marquise Hollywood Brown, Saquon, and hopefully got Keenan coming back. Okay. So you'd have to give up Gabe Davis and Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Don't do it. I wouldn't do it. Because you're giving up two performing. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire just performed recently, and Gabe Davis has been performing. Jonathan Taylor hasn't been 100% healthy, and Jonathan Taylor looked like trash against Jacksonville. So, and he's got to play Jacksonville again, so we'll see what he could do there. So, I would hold on that trade because you got some assets and well, definitely in Gabe Davis. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of a question mark, but I would hold on that trade and yeah, I would definitely hold on that and make sure to subscribe while you're here with us, Parker. Definitely would love to have you be a part of this, but yeah, no, I would hold on that. Don't be giving up that talent, not right now, man. Clyde Edwards-Helaire still got some time to show himself, and Gabe Davis, yeah, who I've been talking about since he got drafted, and I covered him at UCF. He's definitely a guy that you don't want to let go of. Baltimore at the Giants. How about this one, baby? This is that Super Bowl where Trent Dilfer and Brandon Stokely went up against Kerry Collins and the crew. You remember that day? So I remember that day. I had an over 100 temperature. My temperature was over 100 degrees. I was laying in bed in a pull-out couch at my parents' house, and I stayed up and I watched this entire Super Bowl. So good stuff here. Baltimore on the road at the Giants. I like Lamar Jackson. I like J.K. Dobbins. Rashad Bateman is questionable. If he's unable to go, God willing, he'll be back soon. If he's unable to go, Devin Duvernay is a nice little sneaky flex for you if you're going to go four wide receivers deep. He's not a bad play. I like Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Mark Andrews. On the other side for the Giants, I like Saquon Barkley. The man's a friggin' beast. And why? Well, because he's good. He's also being coached by one of my good friends, DeAndre Smith. Shout out DeAndre. I said, if anybody's going to bring it out of him, it's going to be DeAndre to get Saquon looking like Saquon again. So God bless on that. Saquon's the only Giant that I would tell you to play. And I think most people would say the same thing, because it's the truth. So next one we have up here, Tampa Bay at Pitt. Let's get to that one before we take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You are inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. The Fantasy Football Power Hour, the only one you should be going to. The Wildcat Sports Pub, where you should be going to watch all the games. NFL Week 6 2022-23 season. If you're in town, Wildcat, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And if you're coming into town for a little bit of time, then make sure you head over there. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. Or you could say, Dan sent me over, DT, however you want to say it. But head over to the Wildcat. And if you're going to be staying at home watching the games, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. That's 315-487-2222. And let them know that you heard it on Wake Up Call. So, Stacy, we got Stacy coming in here. Week 6 woes. Stafford or Wentz, and Dallas or Denver defense. All of these options suck. LOL, please help. So, well, why don't you let me know who's in free agency for you, Stacy? You know, maybe we could get you somebody in free agency. So let's see here. Who's available in your league? And Stacy, I think that you joined last week, but if not, make sure you subscribe to our Wake Up Call channel here on YouTube, Wake Up Call DT. And Dallas or Denver defense. Yucky yuck. So Dallas or Denver defense. Well, Denver's playing the Chargers, so not that one. And Dallas is playing Philly, so not that one. I streamline defenses, which means that I might pick up a defense and drop them week by week. So you might want to do that in this situation, Stacy, because you got two awful situations there. And in between Stafford and Wentz, I would say Stafford. And they're playing Carolina. Carolina's got no head coach right now, and just they're reeling. So I would tell you Stafford probably be okay this week. Wentz is hurt, so I don't know if he's going to be 100% or if he's going to be out there the whole time. Bengals and Panthers defense is available. Okay. Well, man, I would probably say Bengals defense, because if Jameis is able to go, he's going to throw some picks potentially. So, Stacy, I would of all your choices, I would say Bengals defense is the one to go. And if you have to drop Dallas or Denver defense, I'd drop your Denver defense if you're going to drop one of those defenses. And then I would say Stafford this week, but let me know what quarterbacks are out there as well, because Wentz is not a great option for you or for anybody. So definitely like to help you there. Tampa at Pittsburgh. How about this one? Tom Brady, like him in this one. I mean, Tom Brady, has he really been Tom Brady this year? Not. I mean, they are doing okay. I mean, they're 3-2, right? They're first in the NFC South, but I mean, Tom Brady, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 1,400 passing yards, almost 70% completion percentage. I mean, he does look good. It's just that the team it's a more quiet season right now. Leonard Fournette, Rachaad White. I told you the rookie'd get involved, Rachaad White. They both got a touchdown on the ground. Mike Evans has got 3 touchdowns through the air. Leonard Fournette's got 2. I like Leonard Fournette in the game. I like Tom Brady in the game. I got Tom Brady as a mid-range 1, but still a quarterback 1. Leonard Fournette, yes. Mike Evans, yes. Chris Godwin, yes. Yes. And then on the other side of it, Rachaad White, he's a good flex for you, right? He's got 60 all-purpose yards recently here. Good flex guy out for you. I think if you got to go, 4 running backs deep, not a bad play, in my opinion. He hasn't gotten a ton of yards and a ton of work, but it's not that I don't think that he can shape up at some point here. This might not be the week to do it, though. I like Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin for the Bucs. For the Steelers, I told you Kenny Pickett would become a starter sooner. I told you he'd be out there this year. Najee Harris, I like him. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, another guy from Ohio State, rising up the chart here. And a lot of injuries at tight end. God bless Pat Freiermuth getting back and Zach Gentry as well. Freiermuth concussion, Gentry with a knee injury. And so that's got Connor Hayward coming out here. And I would say Najee Harris is your best bet. Deontay Johnson is a low-end 2, high-end 3 at wide receiver. George Pickens might be a flex 4 for you. But, yeah, I mean, I would say Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson. I think this is going to be all Tampa Bay. And there's definitely more fantasy value on Tampa Bay's side of things. Weather sent me a message here. Stacy said, "Thank you, my dear. You are welcome. You're very welcome." So let me see here. Weather said, "Hey, my team is struggling. I got a really bad tight end situation because Pitts is horrible. I have a bunch of assets to trade to make my team better. I have Patterson on IR, Jeff Wilson, I guess that's Sutton, and Mike Evans. Mixon, Samuel, McLaurin, Jamal Williams. I sadly drafted Stafford thinking he'd be a consistent 16, 18 point. I was very wrong, so I'm stuck with Goff and Tua." Okay. All right, so what are you looking to move? Send me some thoughts. Let me know who's available. Kind of give me a road here of are you looking at running backs? Are you looking at wide receivers? Kind of give me some help here and make sure to subscribe while you're here with us this morning. Weather, definitely appreciate you being here and send me over kind of what you're looking to do. Stacy said Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones available. Keep with what you got, Stacy, and play Stafford for this week, I would say. That's what I would do. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. Keep your questions coming. Happy to answer them. And I'll see them on the fast break as well. So you stay with us. We'll stay with you. And we'll be back right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Weather, thank you for subscribing. Weather, let me know where you want to focus. Are we looking at running backs? Are we looking at wide receivers, tight ends? What's going on here? And thank you, Parker, for subscribing as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on what you guys are really looking to do right now, because I want to make sure that I help you in the best way possible. So Weather, kind of give me a direction on where you're looking to go here. And we'll be back right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. We are inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour from the Wildcat Sports Pub, presented by the wonderful people at the Wildcat, led by Danny Tome. Head out to 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And, you, of course, for takeout and delivery, you can call 7 days a week, 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. NFL Week 6, 2022-23 season. You got a question, send it over. Happy to help you. Weather said, I'm definitely looking to trade Najee Harris and Kyle Pitts. Man, I wouldn't trade Najee Harris. I know the Steelers are frustrating right now. I get it. I really do. You know, I know Carolina's frustrating. There's certain teams out there that got people pissed off in this moment in time. But listen, Najee, I think Najee's going to be okay. I do. Kenny Pickett's got to get comfortable. Right, and remember, this was arguably the best offensive line in football a couple of years ago, and that's changed. So I wouldn't be looking to trade Najee Harris. And Kyle Pitts isn't that bad, but you got to tell me who's out there, Weather. And Weather, let me know, has anybody offered you a trade? If they have, send me the trade. Send it in the feed here, what the trade is specifically. Like, they want Najee, I'll get blank. Send that over to me, and let me know who's available in free agency. Because I'll tell you right now, if you drop Najee Harris or Kyle Pitts in free agency, they're going to be picked up in half a millisecond. So you got to be smart about. I know you're frustrated, and I get it, but you got to be smart about this. So has anybody offered you a trade? If they have, send it over to me. Carolina, man, PJ Walker, that's my dude from Temple. He might be playing again this week. Baker Mayfield's not 100%. Sam Darnold's hurt. Matt Corral's hurt. PJ Walker from Temple might be the guy. Ironically, they decided that Matt Rule, who coached at Temple, is not the guy, and let Matt Rule go, who's somebody that I've gotten to know over the years and I respect greatly, and I'm sad that it didn't work out for him in Carolina. So PJ Walker might be going out. Carolina at LA. Christian McCaffrey's worth the play. DJ Moore, low end 2, high end 3. The guy, I always struggle whether or not I want to draft him, and it's because of these, weeks, right? I mean, he freaking lets you down sometimes, and he, at the end of the season, he's a 1,000-yard receiver, right? And like Terry McLaurin, he's a 1,000-yard receiver. Doesn't matter who's throwing to him, but is he consistent, right? Terry McLaurin feels more consistent, where DJ Moore, it's like he's yet to have a 100-yard game, and his consistency hasn't been great, right? 43 yards, 2 yards, 50 yards, 59 yards. Not great, right? Not great. PPR, most catches he's had in a game, 6. Least he's had 1. He only has 1 touchdown in 5 weeks. So that's why I put him as a low-end 2, high-end 3 at wide receiver for you, especially playing the Rams. Because if he's got Jalen Ramsey on him as the number 1 receiver, that's probably going to open up Robbie Anderson, so maybe that'll help out Robbie. So Robbie, he's a wide receiver 4. DJ Moore's probably a wide receiver 3. Christian McCaffrey's worth the play, but Carolina is stinking it up right now, and they just got rid of their head coach. Now they have an interim head coach. So, 5 weeks into the season, getting rid of your head coach who is less than 3 years there, I think CMC, they're going to stack the box. So I would tell you to play CMC, but don't expect a ton out of him this week. He's not a true number 1 because he's playing the Rams. On the other side of it, I think that Matt Stafford might finally have a good game. I think Cam Akers might have himself a good game. And Darrell Henderson, we'll see. He's a guy you got to flex out here as probably a running back 4. Cooper Kupp is worth the play. Tyler Higbee is a low-end 1, high-end 2 at tight end. I'm not sold on Allen Robinson. This might be a game where he does okay, but because they're playing Carolina, I like Matt Stafford, Cam Akers, and Cooper Kupp. Beyond that, Darrell Henderson as a lower flex and Tyler Higbee, but definitely I'm leaning on the side of the Rams in this one because yuck with Carolina right now. Arizona at Seattle, another battle for the nest, baby. Let's see how this one rocks and rolls here. Seattle's doing some good things. Arizona's trying to do some good things. They're 2-3. They're both 2-3. And like the Rams, they're all behind the San Francisco 49ers because of Jimmy Garoppolo and company. Thanks to Jimmy and thanks to the Niners keeping him there, even though it looked like they had kind of thrown him to the wolves. So the only 3-2 team in the NFC West. For Arizona, I like Kyler Murray in the game. James Conner is hurt. God willing, he'll be back from a rib injury. He's beaten leg injuries. He's beaten cancer. And God willing, he'll continue to beat whatever comes his way. And hopefully he won't have a lot of negatives coming his way, as I pray for all of us to be in that situation. If Connor is able to go, I'd have him as a running back 3 or a 4 this week. I like Kyler Murray. I like Hollywood Brown. I like Zach Ertz. Rondale Moore, I do like him here. So I would say Rondale's probably maybe a wide receiver 3 for you. Seattle, Geno's been going to work, man. He's been doing some things. And I told you Kenneth Walker would eventually take over here. Unfortunately, it's because of an injury to Rashad Penny. But Kenneth Walker's got an open opportunity here to show himself. I covered him at Wake Forest. Then he went to Michigan State. He ended last season, his final season in college, as the second highest total in rushing yards in the country for Division I AFBS. So in this game against Arizona, Kenneth Walker III, I like him as a flex, a running back 3. He very well could be in free agency or a waiver wire for you. I would venture to say he's in one or the other in a lot of cases, unless people listen to me and grabbed and stashed him, which hopefully you did. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, not bad plays for you playing up against Arizona. Will Dissly, he's a tight end too, but he's a dangerous one because Geno Smith likes to throw to him. So I would say that he's a low-end 1, high-end 2. He's not the worst bet that you can have if you put him out there. DK Metcalf and Lockett both have 2 touchdowns in 5 games played up to this point. They've both been targeted at least 40 times, and they both caught at least 28 passes, with Lockett catching 32. Lockett with 406 yards, Metcalf with 372. So there is some good reasons to put them out there playing up against Arizona. I got them as lower end wide receiver 2s, as Geno has, like he did last year, done better than I thought, done better than I expected. 75% completion percentage, 75.2. 1,305 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Geno Smith, not a bad grab and stash guy, and he's better than putting Carson Wentz out there. He might be better than putting Matt Stafford out there besides a week like this. So, Geno's not a bad backup quarterback to have for you. And if you got one of the teams, Detroit, Tennessee, Vegas, or Houston, that's off this week, maybe you want to pick up Geno Smith in this game. Stacy said, should I panic when it comes to Jamar Chase? No, don't panic. Don't panic. They just need to protect the quarterback better. Weather said, nobody's offered me a trade. Tight end position, Gerald Everett, Irv Smith Jr., Logan Thomas. Wide receiver, Juju Smith, Rondale Moore, Isaiah McKenzie. Running back, Raheem Mostert, Michael Carter, Mike Boone. All right, I would say keep Kyle Pitts right now. I mean, if you can carry 2, I would say Irv Smith. So, whether I wouldn't get rid of Pitts. Maybe add Irv Smith if you can. And then, let me see here. Juju, Rondell Moore, and Isaiah McKenzie. Let's see who you have. Your wide receivers are who? Terry McLaurin. I'm guessing that's Curtis Samuel. Let's see here. Sutton, Mike Evans. I like McLaurin. I like Evans. I like Sutton. Is there anybody I would get rid of on your team, though? Maybe Curtis Samuel. Maybe Curtis Samuel for Rondell Moore. Would be my one thought there. I like your other receivers. And then running backs, let's see who you got here. Running backs, you have Jeff Wilson. Okay. Patterson's on IR. Well, if you have Patterson on IR, just drop Patterson and pick up Michael Carter. So, or would I pick up Raheem? Because Raheem is going to be... Oh, Michael Carter's been doing a little bit better. So I would say... You do have Dalton Schultz as well. Yeah, then keep it, man. Keep it. You got Schultz and Pitts. You're gonna be all right. I would pick up Michael Carter, and I would let go of Cordero Patterson because I think Tyler Algier, and I said he was as a rookie. A lot of rookie running backs and wide receivers I told you were gonna play this year. In my opinion, I think that Tyler Algier might take over or become at least a part of that offense. So I do like that. Pulse Zero. A person with Amon-Ra St. Brown said he's down to trade him. Should I offer DeAndre Hopkins or keep him for when he's back? I'm always, you never know what they're going to be when a player comes back. And obviously you drafted DeAndre Hopkins for the hope that, after his 6-week suspension that he was going to turn into something here. So you thought it was smart enough to draft him back then and have him take up a spot on your team even though he couldn't play for 6 weeks. So I think if you believed and were willing to wait 6 weeks, I think you can wait another week and see what happens, Pulse, on this. So I would hold and keep Hopkins for now. That's what I would do. I would keep Hopkins because obviously you drafted him for a reason. And I have Josh Reynolds, but thank you. I'll do that. Yeah, whether any time, happy to help. So, and you're welcome, Pulse, for the quick reply. We try to give you the replies as quick as we can. For those of you that are with us around the world, definitely share where you're from too. Just you could share the state or the country. I always love to know where people are coming from. But yeah, send it over to me. So Facebook.com, YouTube.com, MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. Those are the live feeds. We're live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're the Fantasy Football Power Hour every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. So make sure you get to us then. And we always typically go over 11 a.m., which we're doing again today. So make sure you do that. Weather, shout out from Connecticut. Love me some Connecticut. So big shout out for that. Let me know where y'all are from. Pulse. Make sure that you subscribe. Thank you to everybody else who has. Stacy's from Fort Lauderdale. I know Fort Lauderdale. Been down to Fort Lauderdale. Much love to my Lauderdalians or Lauderdalers. Maybe that makes more sense. But Florida's my second home, personally and professionally. So big shout out to Fort Lauderdale. Big shout out to Connecticut and to all my people from wherever you're at. So make sure you subscribe. And Pulse, make sure you do that. Thank you to Weather and Stacy and everybody else that did. And shoot your questions over. And if the video ends and you have a question, you can still reply to this video. So make sure you do that. And Weather said, what's my opinion on Taysom Hill? My opinion, I said it a little bit earlier in the show. Happy to share it again. He's a tight end. We go through ESPN for our fantasy league. I think it's the most easily accessible app to use. I really like it. So my opinion on Taysom Hill is he's a tight end on the ESPN app, so pick him up if he's out there. Because if he was a quarterback, I wouldn't tell you to put him in. I mean, typically you can only play one quarterback in your league, right, week to week. So if that's the situation, I don't want Taysom Hill locking up that spot for you if you have like an Aaron Rodgers or a Pat Mahomes and so on and so forth. So, Taysom Hill to me, if he's registered as a tight end, you can typically flex him out on your team. He's a perfect flex to have. Man, can go off at times. So I would say if Taysom Hill's available, go get him. And if he's at tight end, put him out there every week, because you never know what he's going to do. He's a jack of all trades, so I do like him a lot. And I definitely am happy that ESPN kept him as a tight end so that you go out there and do it. Cordero Patterson used to be a wide receiver but was playing running back, and people were complaining because they couldn't put him in a running back slot. They had to put him in a receiver slot. Well, Taysom got shifted from quarterback to tight end, and that's a great thing on the ESPN app. So if he's out there, go get him. That's what I would tell you. Arizona, Seattle, so gave you my thoughts on who to play for that one. The next game up that we have here are the 4 o'clock games. We have Buffalo at Kansas City. This game should be Sunday Night Football, but I understand why they're putting Philly there because obviously Philly is the only undefeated team in the NFL out of 32 teams right now, which means that 3% of the NFL is undefeated. It's nuts. And that 3% all belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. So Kansas City Chiefs here, Buffalo. This is a game we could see late in the season. Buffalo is 4-1. Kansas City's 4-1. Somebody's going to come out of this game with a 2-loss, or their second loss of the season if they don't tie. And how about this? This game last year broke a lot of hearts of Buffalo fans. Buffalo going to try to get on the better side of things. I like Josh Allen in this game. I like Stephon Diggs. I like Gabe Davis. Isaiah McKenzie, he's got a concussion, so just watch that. Dawson Knox is hurt as well with a foot injury, so watch that too. Tommy Sweeney might get involved, but I like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Devin Singletary in this matchup. I like Josh Allen, of course, in this one. And the first NFL touchdown to my guy James Cook, younger brother Delvin Cook, who I interviewed in Georgia's route to their college football playoff championship victory and their first college football playoff championship, so big ups to that. I like James Cook. I think he's a sneaky running back 4 for you in a deep league. But Singletary, I do like him as a running back 2, lower end running back 2, but a running back 2. Josh Allen, I like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. Kansas City, Pat Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I do like him to flex out here for you. Jerick McKinnon can do some good things too. So I would say McKinnon is a running back 4. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think, is a running back 3. Juju is, just underwhelming. Ever since he had to be a number 1 in Pittsburgh, he hasn't shown out. I said we'll see if he could, and he didn't. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he showed up a little bit here, but I like Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes the most. Clyde Edwards-Helaire beyond that. And then, Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju, I got them as low guys, wide receivers, like wide receiver 4. I would say that. Buffalo, I think, has a little bit more fantasy value, a little bit more to come to the table. I think the Bills are going to win this game, so this could be a big one here. Weather said, one of my problems is choosing between Pitts and Taysom Hill to start at tight end. Right now, Taysom Hill, especially because Pitts is hurt right now. So just watch Pitts, but definitely you got to do that. We're going to take our final step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Sunday and Monday Night Football are going to be on the docket as we finish up this week, NFL Week 6 of the 2022-23 season, in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Follow us back here as we finish things up with Sunday and Monday Night Football right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com, facebook.com, and youtube.com, all / Wake Up Call DT worldwide on facebook.com / live now DT, as well as on our website homepage, wakeupcalldt.com. If you haven't subscribed to our homepage, do that for free today. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, do that for free today. So wakeupcalldt.com for the website and youtube.com / wakeupcalldt for our YouTube channel. With that being said, Sunday Night Football, Dallas at Philly, let's do it. Cooper Rush, only if you could play two quarterbacks, put him out there. Not a bad bet to put him out there because he has performed very well. So I do like Cooper Rush kind of pulling that Teddy Bridgewater, what he did in New Orleans a couple of years ago. Cooper Rush here filling in for Dak Prescott very nicely. And I do like him as a quarterback too. If you could play two quarterbacks, I'd put him out there as your second, not your first. Tony Pollard's going to take that job from Zeke Elliott, I think, eventually here. I like Tony Pollard in this game. Zeke, I got him as a lower end running back 2. CeeDee Lamb, I don't have Tony Pollard as a 1, but I don't have Zeke as a 1 either. CeeDee Lamb worth the play. Michael Gallup, I would say, is worth flexing out as a 3 or a 4, in my opinion. Dalton Schultz, he has a PCL injury of his knee. God willing, he'll be okay. If he's able to go, then I would say he's a tight end 2 this week because he's playing Philly. I like Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Play them all. They're all worth the play this week. Final game that we have, Denver at the Chargers. My guy Nate Hackett, good friend of mine, he has gotten no help whatsoever. This is his second Monday night game. He's had a Sunday night game. He's had a Thursday night game. The man has rarely played a normal week most of this season, and now he's got to play on the road at the Chargers on Monday Night Football. So Russell Wilson is not 100%. If he is, God willing, he will be by the start of the game. Questionable with a shoulder injury. We know that Javonte Williams is out. Latavius Murray, my dude, has been brought in. Big shout out to that. Ironically, Nate Hackett was under head coach Doug Marrone in Syracuse. Latavius Murray allegedly wanted to come back to Syracuse, and that phone call came in to tell Doug Marrone that, which is insane because Doug thought it was a joke, allegedly. And so he decided to, not kind of field that. And now Nate Hackett gets to coach Latavius Murray, where he would have had the chance to coach Latavius Murray in the past if Doug had listened to the call, arguably. So Mike Boone, he's a low-end flex for you. Melvin Gordon is like a running back 3. Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are worth the plays with their running back or wide receiver 2s. So not a ton of value on Denver. The Chargers have a lot of value, though. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, if he's able to go, God willing, he will be, coming off a hamstring injury. That nagged him years ago when I drafted him, and it bit me in the butt. Hopefully that won't happen this time around. And then Mike Williams, definitely worth the play. With or without Keenan Allen, I think Mike Williams is worth the play. So with that being said, that's your fantasy football power hour for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends, family, coworker, and colleague alike, as well as your neighbors, to join us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and subscribe. Big thanks to hour number 1 with our Dolphin Dive, diving into the story of Terrence Chrysler Howard of Lemoyne men's soccer. And of course, tune in every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Stacy, thank you for the positivity. Appreciate y'all very much so, and thank you for tuning in. MixLR, like I said, .com/wakeupcalldt. Subscribe there to our live streaming radio. Thank you to over 200 subscribers that have done that. Facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on wakeupcalldt.com. Subscribe to our website. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of those, and you'll get us as well by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Would love to see you there. Thank you to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, who's now hiring in Liverpool, New York. Go to Indeed.com and search Ma and Pa's. You could also follow the link on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds, so you can connect with us there and apply for the job. Canine Camp Ground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Watertown, which will be opening soon, Mother's Cupboard, and more. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It spins up every single week. Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you check out our Dolphin content to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, as well as subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. We are the exclusive home for all information on realignment and reclassification. If anybody else tells you they are simply lying to you. So make sure you come out and check out all of our Lemoyne content. We have our exclusive series on reclassification and realignment with AD Bob Beretta and President Dr. Linda Lemura. Those are all airing on wakeupcalldt.com's Lemoyne tab, so make sure you check that out, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So we'd love to see you there. We appreciate you hanging out with us every Wednesday for Dolphin Time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse are also exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can check out new editions of Bobcat Buzz airing every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively. You can hang out with your Bobcats by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. We implore you to do that and make sure you subscribe and bookmark it. And of course, you can also find them by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for our conversations with the Bobcat student athletes, coaches, and administration. And for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, find us on Facebook, and if you haven't followed or subscribed, do that today. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and as always, God bless. No stress, do your best. From inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and with these beautiful Witty Wicks candles that smell absolutely incredible, and all of our Witty Wicks pieces here. Our 315 Syracuse pillow, our Cuse Home Sweet Home, our 315 Home Sweet Home here. And they have Camillus, they have Watertown, they have Syracuse, all of the wonderful places. I love the 315. It is my home. And all of these can be a part of your home, your office, your studio, and more by going to Witty Wicks today. So make sure you head out to Witty Wicks on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, right in front of Movie Tavern. And they got a special giveaway with their Beekman 1802 product. So make sure you check that out this Thursday, October 13th to Sunday, October 16th, in store only at 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. In the meantime, I will talk with you soon. And as always, like I said before, God bless, no stress, do your best. Be well and be safe, everybody.